Hello, everybody. Thank you for watching another episode of Friday's edition of Why Am I Yelling Live? I am Krista Rizzo. I am your host. And today we have yet another fantastic guest. We are joined by Lauren Venna, who is a professional makeup artist. I mean, look at how gorgeous she is. And she's also going to be an up-and-coming children's book author. We're going to talk about all of that right now. Thank you for being here.
Thank you for having me.
My pleasure. So I always like to start these things off with, how did you get to where you are? And clearly you're passionate about what you do, only because I follow you on social media. What made you get into makeup artistry? And then we're going to talk about how that evolved into your book.
So I started, when I was 18. I always like to joke, it's crazy because I'm only 21, but we obviously—
You're so young, I know. I'm 28, so great.
Really. Without going too long, I like to la, so, you could say, Laura, stop.
Go ahead.
But when I was a kid, I was a dancer. I thought that was what I was going to be. I wanted to be on Broadway and be into jazz and tap, and that was going to be my dream. And then at 18, not even 18, senior year of high school, I was just burned out. And my parents were like, really? We spent all that money? But they go, okay, what's your next dream, Lauren? And I said, I want to be a makeup artist. And back then, there was no social media. So no YouTube, Facebook, none of these makeup artists that were influencers. I think it was actually a Bobbi Brown book.
I love, yep.
And then it was actually, remember when you go to a makeup counter and it was just those beautiful women that—
Yes.
I
used to go to the Clinique counter with my mom to get our makeup done.
Yes. And that was my idol. I looked up to them and was like, I want to do that. And I remember being 13 at the MAC counter saying, that is really cool. So I don't know. I think that was my first goal. And then it was to do, celebrities or just doing makeup. That's what I wanted to do. So my dad was like, okay, that's what you want to do. We're going to find you the best school. You're going to, that's your dream. Let's do it. So I went to Christine Valmet in the city, and it was to get your esthetician license. It was a 2-day makeup course. I learned how to pop pimples, how to wax, got nothing.
Do all the things.
And it was great. It was awesome, but it wasn't really like makeup. Because they didn't really have that. Makeup wasn't what it is now.
Right.
So after I graduated, I stayed in the city working. So I was a freelance artist for Bobbi Brown, for Chanel. But I lived in Jersey. I was 18 living at home, taking the bus in Manhattan. I was spending more money working than—
on your commute.
Yeah. So I ended up, at this point I was working with those jobs and doing that, but I wanted to work for MAC. MAC was the thing. And I got a job.
I'm a MAC girl, by the way.
Are you
100%.
MAC girl?
Yes.
You are, yeah. So I got a job with MAC, and that was a 2-week course of just everything, color theory. It was the best artistry lesson and just training that I ever got. I said, that's probably even from this day, the most, just the greatest thing, being a makeup artist and learning technique and stuff. So I was with them for probably 8 years. I left, and I got one of my bosses that was with MAC went with Clarence, and there was a regional artist position. So I had all of New Jersey and New York training other artists and doing events. And I was with them for about 2 years. Then, long story short, got married, wanted to have kids, was going through infertility. And I had to slow down. If you know about infertility, it's a lot of going back and forth blood tests. So I wanted to freelance, going back to where my roots were with makeup. I could slow down my schedule. Went back with MAC, freelancing, and there I am. And then, freelancing with MAC, wanted to start my own business. Here I am, LV makeup artist. And then one thing went to another, social media, and boom, business took off. And here I am 20 years later as a makeup artist having my own business.
That's amazing. But you don't think, right, when you're starting this, especially, somebody like you or me, I didn't come from an entrepreneurial family background, right? So it wasn't like watching my parents build businesses and fail and succeed and all the things, right? So I think that that's a really important lesson for us to learn, especially those of us who are within this certain generation, right? You're quite younger than I am, but You are. I think that, you know, having the idea that you can actually do this, right? You started working for somebody, but then you were like, wait a minute, I can do this.
Absolutely.
I know how to do this.
Yeah.
You got the right training, you got the right education, you did all the right stuff. And then you were like, now I'm going to do it for me. So I give you a lot of credit for that, because there are a lot of people out there who would be afraid of that.
Oh, 100%. And I think one of the biggest thing is that I started when I was 18, but my business took off in my 30s. So there's so many people that are like, I can't do this now. I'm in my 30s or 40s. And I'm like, I want it even more now that I'm almost 40. You know, like a lot of people are like, no, I should have done it when I'm in my 20s. I'm like, I just wrote a book and I'm almost 40. Like, I just feel like you are never, ever too, like, it's never too late.
Right.
Never. I just,
right.
Yeah. As long as you keep up with that passion, those goals, I'm hoping that when I'm in my 70s, I'm still doing something else.
Doing something else.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I was 41 when I started my business.
Yeah.
Years ago.
Yeah, 100%.
So it's like, I can do whatever I want.
Yeah.
So now I want to know what your favorite, because I love, especially since you're a makeup artist, and so you've been doing a lot of high profile people. Who has been your favorite person to do, like, high profile person to do makeup on?
Vanessa Williams, hand down.
Really?
Yes.
I love her. Why?
Besides that she's beautiful, she was the most down to earth person that I've ever worked on, high profile. Like, she walked in, no like posse, no like, you know, walked in and was just we were talking like it was my like friend from like back in the day. Didn't, you know, there's people that are not celebrities that I'll do makeup on sometimes.
Oh, they're the worst.
You sometimes get that, you know, you feel like, okay, you know, it's your job. When you work with people, you get the best and you get the worst sometimes. It's working with people. And most of my clients are really, really sweet. I do not get that a lot, but you always, you know, there's some that, I was like, can we just like hang out and talk forever? Like, amazing. That was I work with Bella Magazine, and that was with one of their features. And I remember talking to the owner, Vanessa, after. I'm like, did this just happen? Like, is she that cool? Like, what was that about? Like, she was amazing to work with.
That, I love to hear stories like that. I love to hear stories like that, because you hear so many others.
Yeah, Sarah Gore too. She was another one that was like really, really down. But I think because Vanessa Williams, she was an idol to me growing up. Like, so before she came in, I was like this. And I was like, okay, can't shake when I'm putting on eyeliner. Like, Lauren, get yourself together.
Mascara. The eye.
Yeah, it was more of like that. Oh my God. And then I'm like, wait, she's cool. Like, she's really cool. So yeah.
I love that. We're going to shout her out when we put this on IGTV. First of all, I'm a product junkie. Like, I really love a product. I've always loved a product. I like, you know, I don't like the term girl's girl, but I'm a girl. Like, and I have boys. So,
okay.
Yes, God did not give me girls to pass down, you know, my shoe collection to, or my pretty dresses to. But I have nieces, so that's okay.
We're going to go back to that in a second.
We will. But I love a good product. And I don't necessarily have to have an allegiance to anybody, because if it's a good product, it's a good product.
Very true.
What is your favorite? You're probably a Mac person, right? But what's your favorite?
No,
like,
not.
No, okay. What's your favorite? What's your favorite product?
I love Mac,
yes.
But,
what do you got?
It depends on what we're talking about. Yeah.
So I like to talk about skin, not necessarily the makeup part, right? So like, what's your favorite skincare product or line?
Skincare, like, so there's so many different levels. So there's moisturizer, there's eye cream, there's serums. I was a beauty specialist at Nordstrom's, right? So what that is pretty much, if you ever had like a personal shopper, you meet with me, and instead of being hooked, like you said, on that one line, I could take you around, and you could, so let's say if you went to MAC, you know, you would shop with MAC. I could be like, all right, let's go to MAC for shadows. We could go to, you know, NARS for blush, or you want skincare, go to La Mer. Like, you kind of don't have to be definitely set on one line. So when you go to skincare, I feel like it's the same way. I don't feel like you need to get your serum, eye cream, moisturizer with one line. Speaking of product junkie, I am the same way. So I feel like there's also different ranking. I don't feel like there's some people that are like, I want the most high-end skincare. I feel like it works. I feel like that's what you spend, that's what you get. I was a La Mer like junkie. Like I would be like, I'm gonna save and I'm gonna get that moisturizer. I'm gonna warm it up. I have really dry skin, and I swear that was the best of the best. And then I tried Drunk Elephant, and I'm like,
oh, I love their stuff.
Oh my
God. I love their stuff.
But then COVID hit, right? Work got slow, and I'm like, La Mer's out, right?
Mm-hmm.
Drunk Elephant, I'm like, I don't even want to, like, this is before you were even ordering online or anything.
Sure.
And I had to go to CVS, pick up a prescription. I'm like, let me try the Neutrogena blue jar. I'm like, the Hydra Boost. I'm like, everybody is talking about that. So it's not La Mer. It's not Drunk Elephant.
It's a combination.
But it hydrated me enough. So there's certain things, like I always tell people, even with cosmetics, it's not like, oh, it does what it's supposed to do. It's as best as you're going to get. That's not the case. There's so many lines out there that just because they're not as expensive, they do amazing things. The eye cream is probably the one thing that I haven't found in the cheap, like I don't want to say cheap, on the lower end that I was like, I can swear by. But moisturizers, I have found like so many different levels that are incredible on any kind of price point. Concealer, my all-time favorite concealer to this day for dry skin is the Maybelline Instant Lift. It's the one that you click up. I swear a million times, like, and I have tried every single concealer that they make. So there's certain things that like, and when you are going back to what you were saying, so I'm not a shoe person because I wear a heel. You can ask any of my best friends. I fall over. I'm 5'1". I wish I could wear a 7-inch heel. Like I can't. My feet, I don't know if it was from being a dancer and I got bad feet. I'm like the worst. And I wish. Same thing with bags. Like I like one nice bag, but I can't switch my bags out. But and I might be posting a video soon about this, but working in counters and everything, people will come up and they say, you discontinued my favorite lipstick. You discontinued my favorite eyeshadow. And I like to tell people, just imagine having your favorite sweater, right? And we discontinued it. It's like fashion. If we kept all the same stuff, do you imagine what would be like lying around the stores? Makeup is the same way. So I actually saved from MAC. Do you remember they have like the Hello Kitty? Or they have all those like limited edition, never open in the packaging. I mean, I can't open them. They'd be like spoiled, whatever. But it is my like little secret. Only some people know about it. I have like a little box. And my husband's like, if you sell all your skincare and makeup, we could probably pay off the mortgage. Yeah. Like my Hello Kitty lipstick that's never been opened would probably sell for like $300 or something. I don't know. Maybe it won't. But it's like, that's my little secret. I collect anything, any kind of like limited edition cosmetics.
That's amazing. I'm going to keep my eye out for limited edition stuff for you. Or crazy, whatever floats your boat. It's awesome.
I mean, that's not normal. Not normal.
There's way worse things, my friend. Way worse things.
True.
Okay, so now that we've got the makeup, thank you for all those tips, though, by the way, because I think it's really important because I agree with all that stuff. I have bought the high end and I've bought the low end, and sometimes I like the low end more than I like the high end.
Yeah.
Let's switch gears a little bit because I want to talk about your children's book, right? I'm excited about it. I follow you on social media. I know what you're up to. Tell everybody what made you want to do this and what it's about.
Okay. So it's called My Mom, the Best Mom Ever. I don't know if I should even start with the story first.
You pick.
So I say it is a children's book, but it's also a book for everyone. It's from ages 1 to 100. It is a funny children's book, but it's for anybody to read. So I want to go with the story first so you could understand of how it happened. Because this was very random. People say, when did you want to write a children's book? I'm like, this happened by accident. So I'm gonna paint you the picture.
I love it. Okay.
So last fall, when you're a mom and you know the craziness of, obviously this is last fall, so this is before COVID. So I am the typical mom, as you see me all dressed and pretty and everything else. When I am not working and not doing interviews and in mom life, it is a hot mess. So I'm going to paint you that picture. So school day, my alarm goes off. I am not a morning person. I pressed the snooze button, then I pressed it maybe 3 more times. So I finally get up and we are officially running late. I run downstairs and I sleep. My husband's a big dude, so I sleep in his like pajama shirt, his sweatpants, you know. Run downstairs. My husband was working. When he's off, he's a cook, he's a chef, like he does that kind of stuff. When mommy's home, it is Eggos like in the toaster. We're doing that kind of breakfast.
That's amazing.
So, yeah, I'm telling the kids, you know, come on, get dressed. We're going to be late. We don't want to miss the bus. We cannot miss the bus. I'm that mom.
Right.
I'm not driving you. Like, you're not missing the bus. So I'm putting, you know, the Keurig on. I'm trying to feed the dogs. I'm texting my husband good morning, putting the Eggos in there, packing their lunches. God forbid I do anything the night before to make my life easier. No, that doesn't work, right? Come on, guys. Come on. I'm doing my daughter's hair, my son's hair. Okay, now I'm looking at the clock. We got 10 minutes to go. We got 10 minutes. Like, work with me, children, okay?
Yeah.
Brush your teeth. Let's go. And you know that morning. Like, we can't.
Every day. It's still every day of my life. Yeah.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. Now it's like showtime. We got to get out the door. By the way, my dogs, I have 2 dogs. I have a big golden retriever and a little corgi rat thing. They have to be outside with the bus because if they don't, you know, worst day ever. So now we got to find the leashes. I got to leash the dogs. The dogs are barking. It's crazy. Didn't even have my coffee yet. So there's no like crack in the system. Okay. So get my coffee. And I can't, my kids are dressed, obviously like perfect looking, ready to go. And I haven't changed yet. Like we haven't changed out of the wardrobe situation. And I can't find my shoes. So I have like the Tory Burch, the really flat one. And then I found like on the other foot, the Nike, the 1.5, 2 inch.
Oh,
so
good.
now I'm like doing the limp thing, going out to the bus. Okay. Holding my coffee. Now I'm like seeing like the bus on the corner screaming, we're gonna miss the bus. Like it's crazy time. I'm telling you all this because you got to get the.
I love it. I see it.
Okay. So we get to the bus. My neighbor is there. So beautiful. She goes to work right after the kids. So she like perfect.
She's dressed and done.
Yes. Always looks great and always calm. She's like, hi, Lauren. The dog's leashes are wrapped around me. Coffee is spilled. I'm like, yeah, good morning. Hi. Okay. So my daughter is getting on the bus. Love you, mommy. Love you. And I'm like, love you, Chloe. My son is now grabbing me. And you know, like you just want to kill them. But at that moment, you're like, ah, oh, you know?
Yes. Yep.
Like, love you, bud. Have the best day. He gets on the bus. I catch my breath, almost trip because of the leashes, but unleash them. I get inside and I have a long standing mirror.
Yeah.
So, you know, when you catch yourself in a mirror, but you look good. So you're like, oh, okay. Like, you know, then there's the moment where you don't look good and you're like, like,
who is that?
Oh my God. Here's the image I want you to see. I have holes everywhere from his work shirt that I was wearing. I didn't have a bra on. So
of course.
I'm thinking like when I'm like, bye guys, like, did I give the kids a show? Like, I don't even know what that was. And then I'm like, the coffee stain, I had mascara that I probably didn't, like, it looked like Halloween.
Right.
Like I have Jersey curly hair. This was like day 7 probably. It was like this. Yeah. Okay. I'm like, who am I? Like, what just happened? The worst possible, and I'm, you know, think about it with the hair and the eyes. And I'm like, we're gonna be late. Monster. And then I just start laughing.
Right.
What else?
What are you gonna do? Right.
What can you do? And I'm like crying, laughing. And then after the laughter went, I'm like, you know what? Like, hot mess. I'm screaming. I'm yelling. I'm tripping over my feet. I mean, what, like the morning of hell. And at the end of the day, my son couldn't hold me tight or hard enough.
Right.
And all he thought of is, I have the best mom in the world.
Right.
Like, I love my mom so much. I need to get in one tight hug before I start my day.
Yeah.
And at the end of the day, that's
all you want.
Yes. And we as moms, I mean, we have those days. We have them more than ever. I mean, especially take COVID now.
Right.
We all have been there. You know, you could take it before COVID, after COVID, whatever you want. As moms, as working moms, as stay-at-home moms, we have those days, you know, and at the end of the day, no matter we're not perfect or not, our kids love us just the way we are.
Right.
So my book, I ended up that day writing out to my kids like a story.
Yeah.
And I was just like stick figures and being like, as my kids are telling the story, my mom is the best mom ever. She makes us the best homemade frozen waffles. She's the best singer when she steps on a Lego. She's always has room. She always loves company. And then I just had an image of all of them in the bathroom with me, which I don't want to give too much away.
Happens all the time.
That's one of my favorite pages. It's me sitting on the toilet with all the kids and my husband in the bathroom, because every mom has been there. Every mom. I mean, my dog is on my lap, but it's just, these are the moments we all complain about, but we all love them, you know?
Right.
So it's just, it's a book. Again, it's relatable to everyone. It's funny. And when I read this to my kids, again, it was on a note paper because I was just drawing. It was after obviously a couple weeks. I was like, guys, mommy has a story for you. They were laughing. And then my daughter said, you should write it. You should make that a book. My friends would really find that funny. Yeah. And I'm like, huh, really? Like, I don't know. So my husband always like tells me straight, like he'll be like, slow your roll, Lauren.
Right.
So I read it to him and I'm like, what do you think? And he's like, I actually think you have something. And then it went from there.